The story of Musa alayhi salam has been mentioned a lot of times in the Quran, but the one that came in Surah A'raf and Shura has so much similarities. In fact, an entire ruku, an entire chapter is similar. And I am going to compare ayat of these two surah, and inshallah if you pay attention it will no longer be challenging for you. If you are reciting from behind and reach all the way here, then the flow of recitation will going to help you in few of the initial ayat. Like if you look at Surah Araf, let's say we are coming from behind. حقيق على ألا أقول, you and this ayah with Bani Israel, then automatically you will say قال إن كنت جئت بآية. And similarly in Surah Shura, the flow of the recitation is going to help you through these initial ayat. But for the beginning part of these ayat in Surah Shura, there is another pattern that follows. In all the previous ayah, we can see that every other ayah starting with qala. And in the previous ruku, there are 24 ayat, and out of them, 13 start with qala. So after qala walau jituka bi shay'in mubin, we have qala fa'ti bihi. If in case at shay'in mubin you go somewhere else, there is a hint that in Surah Shura we are following this pattern of qala again and again. So bishayin mubin we have qala fa'ti bihi in kunta minas. Now beginning of the ruku in both the surah, there is similarity with a slight different. If you look at Surah Araf, we have qala al-mala'u, and in Surah Shura we have qala lil malai. Now to remember which one is where, there are two ways. First one is in Surah Araf. If you look at Surah Araf, we have qala al-mala'u, and Surah Araf, this part of the Surah Araf is in Juz 9. And what's the name of Juz 9? The title of Juz 9 is Qala al-Malaw. So the starting of the ruku is Qala al-Malaw. And if we have Qala al-Malaw in Surah A'raf, then definitely we are going to have Qala lil-Malay in Surah Shura. But there is another way to differentiate between these two. If you look at Surah Shura, we have Qala lil-Malay hawlahu, because Fir'aun is talking to Malaw, the leaders around him. And in Surah A'raf, the Mala are talking. So, Qal al Malaw. Now, from here starts the real challenging part. And you have to be really conscious when you are reciting these ayat all the way forward. I'm going to tell you a few things that will keep you on the right track without drifting here and there. So, moving forward, we have Yuridu and Yukhrijakum. But before talking about this, I want you to keep in mind that in Surah Shura, we are going to have some additional words. The ayat are similar in both the surah, but the version that is in Surah Shura will have some additional words, some additional huruf to it. And those additional words are alif, ba, lam, fa. And we have mushaddad also in Surah Shura. Keep in mind that whenever we have some similar words in Surah Shura, that word starts with fa, and in Surah Araf, the same word starts with wow. Remember guys, I am showing you the differences, the patterns that will help you. At the end, only you have to memorize it. And once you understand the differences, the memorization would be a piece of cake for you. Now look at this ayah, yuridu an yukhrijakum. So there are two variants, min ardikum simply, and min ardikum bisihri. As I already told you, the rule of additional words, huruf, in Surah Shura. So bisihrikum in Surah Shura, and simply ardikum, yuridu an yukhrijakum min ardikum in Surah A'raf. Next we have qalu arjih wa akhahu. So they have two versions, Wabars wa Arsil. Because Surah A'raf in the Mus'haf comes first, then comes Surah Shura. So Arsil with Alif and Wabars with Ba. Ba comes afterwards. So does Surah Shura. So you can easily link this one with Haruf Tahajji. Next up we have Ya'tuka bikulli Saharin and Sahirin. As I told you already, Mushaddad in Surah Shura. So we have Saharin in Surah Shura and simply just Sahirin in Surah Araf. And when you say Sahirin Alim in Surah Araf, then automatically with the flow of recitation, you will recite the next ayat correctly. وَجَاءَ السَّحَرَةُ فِرْعَوْنَ. And similarly in Surah Shura, فَجُمِعَ السَّحَرَةُ. Right after يَأْتُكَ بِكُلِّ سَاحِرٍ عَلِيمٍ in Surah Araf, if you look at, we have وَجَاءَ السَّحَرَةُ. But in Surah Shura, as I already mentioned, there is a rule of additional words and huruf. So we have two additional ayat, and then we have جَاءَ السَّحَرَةُ. And not just جَاءَ السَّحَرَةُ, we have فَلَمَّا جَاءَ السَّحَرَةُ with a fa. And not only that, in Surah Shura we have inna lana la ajran. Basically, the magician were asking Firaun, if we are the ghalibin, is there any reward? Inna lana ajran. Again, the rule of additional words follows in Surah Shura. Next few ayat, you can easily go through them with the flow of recitation. For Ulkiya Saharatu, I have already told you the rules. Now you tell, where do we have Fa Ulkiya Saharatu and where do we have Va Ulkiya Saharatu with a Fa and with a Wa. Now, Antum Qabla an Azana lakum. I don't have a special trick for this one, but there is this thing in my mind when I am reciting Surah A'raf. There is one line where we have three names: Musa, Harun, and Fir'aun. So whenever I am reciting Surah A'raf, when I reach this word Rabbi Musa wa Harun, automatically this line comes to my mind, that we have this line with three names: Rabbi Musa wa Harun. قال فرعون آمنتم به. But when I'm reciting Surah Shura, then we have قال آمنتم له قبل أن آذن لكم. له and به goes with فرعون آمنتم and قال آمنتم. Automatically the correct version comes to your mind when the beginning is correct. Then we have this phrase فسوف تعلمون and فلا سوف تعلمون. As I told you, additional words in Surah Shura, so we have فلا سوف تعلمون with a la. And in Surah Araf, we just have simply فسوف تعلمون. Another common phrase, ثم لأصلبنكم ولأصلبنكم. As the Surah A'raf comes first, so it has ثم لأصلبنكم. And Surah Shu'ara comes later in the Mus'haf. We have وَلَأُسَلِّبَنَّكُمْ. And in the end we have inna ila rabbina munkalibun. And the rule of additional words, additional huruf in Surah Shu'ara, so we have قَالُوا لَا ضَيْرَ inna ila rabbina munkalibun. That was it, guys. I am hopeful that I was able to convey this trick as it's in my mind, and I'm hoping that it will help you just like it helped me. If you find this helpful, I want you to share it with someone who is struggling to memorize these mutashabihat. I'll see you in the next episode.